as you can see.
We can proceed with
Yes.
this, in our experience, just can't vote on anything, but
Well,
that's my understanding, isn't it?
so,
4 of the members here,
yeah,
I think you
Oh,
do.
we do? Okay.
Barely, but
barely.
Okay.
Tracy should be here. I was messaging with her this morning. Do we have a quorum?
And then Jackie.
Jackie's out,
Yeah.
Jenny is out, and Tom is out.
Oh, no, Tom's right here.
Or not Tom, Gary.
Gary.
Gary's out. Tom, you're here. Tom, you're here. Gary's out.
I'm out of here.
You're out, no. Yeah, Gary's.
Hey, I wanna cancel a meeting, I'll go to.
Yeah. Give you credit for 8:30, is that okay?
Yes.
Yeah, great.
Okay. Right, go ahead and start introductions.
Okay, I'm Deanna Balcard. I'm vice chairperson.
Clint Coleman, traffic safety member, special call, County Public Works.
Tina Schiff, chair.
I'm O'Brien, traffic safety council member.
Chris Macon, police department.
Tracy Hensley, council president, liaison to the commission. Sorry, I'm like, someone's parked in the handicap spot and I have to navigate the stairs.
And then we have Brianna.
I'm Brianna, planning liaison to the commission.
Good morning, Tracy.
Hello.
Okay, did everybody get a chance to review the minutes?
I
Motion
would,
that we approve.
and I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Citizen input. I didn't receive anything. Anybody else? I know.
No citizens grant.
This time change must have messed everybody up. Okay, so, old business. The U-turn on 99E in Redwood, that's been a big,
I've been on that one.
yes.
Officer Income, since we have you here, your expertise, Tina, you could share the problem and then ask Officer Income what he might suggest.
Yeah, so, I live off Redwood.
Okay.
So, and so does Tracy, we've been noticing a ton of people doing a U-turn right there. I mean, it's just been, I never saw it, and then all of a sudden, it just seems like it is rampant.
I see it multiple times a week, and if it happens as many times as I see it, imagine how many times it's happening that I'm not there.
Right.
Yeah, and so there is that U-turn in that little, island thing, little center divide. It's just before you get to where you stop.
It's about a car length and a half behind the line.
The sign
The
for,
sign that
sign.
says no U-turn.
right,
So once you're sitting there at the line, that might have saw it and forgot or not
Didn't
saw
see
it. I think from the meeting before, the question was asked, could we maybe approach ODOT to have the sign hung on the left turn signal?
So
Why?
in Oregon, U-turns are illegal across the board
Unless posted otherwise.
unless posted otherwise.
Right.
We don't have anything posted, but I mean, it's definitely
But there is a no U-turn sign there, but it's
right.
a car length and a half or so
And
behind.
it's small,
I think
it's
it's
small.
run over every
It's
day.
probably,
It's just your average sign,
Yeah.
on the Meridian thing.
but we would love to see if we could get a no U-turn sign up there. I did actually see one on Ivy recently too. I was just blown away.
I know, it's crazy. It's like, you guys, you're not supposed to do that unless it says you can. U-turn permitted is the sign that you usually see when it's permitted,
Right.
but, yeah. But it's one of those things, it's like, what do you do? And it's not in a place where I realize it's not really, and it's not easy for you guys to enforce, because there's no place for you guys to post stuff right there.
No,
It's, yeah, so
definitely we come
it's a
across.
conundrum. So we were like, what do you suggest?
I mean, putting it on the light itself is obviously best and visual anyway, but I think that's obviously a great idea. Keeping the sign there is probably the hardest thing, just because it gets run over all the time.
One other thing, if I could add to that, is if, let's say, you're on 99, you get in that turning lane to turn onto Redwood, and you're the first car, they just dive on your front. I mean, you just feel like they're gonna climb over your hood. And
Oh, yeah, I've been almost
and
taken out of it.
sometimes there's those little bumps that they could put that would keep cars from, would that be an ODOT
They've
request?
had them there.
Yeah,
Cause that just is nerve wracking, you know, if you, especially if you get up there right where you're allowed to go.
Oh, yeah, I've had my nose almost taken out many times.
That intersection, and you can only get one, maybe 1.5 cars through that light.
Oh,
Before it
yeah,
changes.
right
When you're
where it
taking
changes immediately.
When you're taking the left off of 99E to go down Redwood, you're barely getting into the intersection and the light's yellow and then it's red before you get through. And then if everybody slows down to go over the tracks like they do, soon as they slow down, you're stuck out there. Even if your light was the right color going through, as soon as those people start, you know,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
yeah,
an
it's, yeah.
That's a good question, Officer Meeker. So let's say when you're the second driver and the light goes yellow and you're in the intersection and then the arms go down. What's the best course of action?
it definitely is. It's tough to answer because, ideally you just gotta clear the intersection.
Yeah.
The lights they're set by ODOT, they should be 4 seconds. You know, especially if you're turning into a railroad area, that could cause an issue. I mean, that would be something that we should bring up to ODOT. And at least addressing the time frame of the yellow light. Because if it's green for a second, then it turns to yellow and it just proceeds right through, that is obviously a very big hazard.
Because if you look at, like, if you're making a left turn from 99E to Ivy, it's a different turn than it is if you're turning off 99E to Redwood. It's a sweep,
Yeah.
so it's not that same distance that you're going
Right.
to get through that intersection. It just is very, I mean, in the afternoon, they time it a little bit longer because it's the afternoon, people going home traffic, you can get a few more cars through, but any other time, you're barely getting through there.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's,
I did want to just say too, that we did reach out to ODOT, asking about the no U-turn sign on the light, and ODOT said no.
Did they give a reason?
They did. It's
And what is
a
the
very lengthy
Lengthy
response.
reason.
The gist of it,
Forward me that email so I can read it later.
yeah.
the gist of it is, there is not the crash data to support anything enhanced there. Kind of the same thing that Nathan had said is that, all intersections, it is illegal, and so that is the expected for everyone to know that it is illegal.
So it's an enforcement issue is what they're basically.
They are saying that they are not, ODOT is not an enforcement agency. Drivers are responsible for knowing the rules of the road and traffic laws.
Okay,
That sounds like
so,
ODOT.
So,
yeah,
yeah.
what
they-
can you do
they-
for enforcement then? It's not a good spot to.
Well, 99E is kind of an odd, entity for Canby as well, because enforcement, like each side of 99 at Sequoia Redwood is municipal, but the highway is OSP. So the data for us it's gonna be different. It's never gonna support anything because the highway, it'll be OSP or it'll be Canby. And we don't get those, we won't get that information together. Changes to ODOT I have seen where, and it's been in traffic trials that I've been a part of, where individuals have done some engineering and they, I won't say protested against it, but they have shown why it is needed, and they have made like speed changes or sign changes. So that would be my only recommendation on how to change something like that, is having somebody or have an evaluation done on why it needs to have a U-turn sign.
Is that something where if we have the data of how many tickets you all wrote in that, for that.
And that's what I was getting at, is there's no real place for them to pull over and monitor it and write those tickets,
However,
or is there? I mean,
There's
do
not
this.
a particular, I mean, there really isn't unless you're parked on the side of the road or in the parking lot of the furniture place or.
on the
Well, you'd have to
revenue
be-
side,
You'd have to be in a particular position. If there was a motorcycle,
Mhm.
you park anywhere you would like.
Yeah, let's
Motorcycle
advocate for
away.
that, get in contact.
Just disappeared one day, I don't know what happened.
Sounds to me like the requirement for ODOT indicates that we should somehow increase the number of accidents that we have there to meet their criteria. So, you know, maybe around.
Well, I don't even know if the accident part would be the requirement, it would be the U-turn part of it. I mean, obviously accidents are gonna prevail, but.
Who's
still
the
accidents.
bumper on the cars?
Yeah, we're gonna go for it more.
Okay, all right, well, anything more on that?
Thank you, ODOT.
Yeah, we'll put a pin in that,
That's-
I'm not done
that's-
with that one, because that one makes me upset, so
Yeah.
I'll look at that one some more later.
Okay, let's see, Linda made the motion to install digital speed sign on Holly near 10th. You added that to the budget cycle, so we're just kind of tabling that until, does it look like when that budget cycle comes, that will happen?
I have to have my proposed budget in by Friday,
Okay,
and then I will probably, well, I won't know for sure if it's approved until, when is the last budget? Tracy,
Our,
third of May, third week of May,
Yeah, and then we adopt the budget in June.
so it'd be July 1st.
okay.
If I could interrupt for a second, Officer Meekum, you likely know about this, can't recall exactly when this occurred, but there was an accident, I think, that occurred, on Holly, probably around 10th Street. Looked like someone didn't stop and there's crossed up and a car ended up on the lawn.
Oh, yeah.
And I wondered if you knew the circumstances behind it.
Yeah, it was a gentleman that lived in the neighborhood, he had just came up Ivy and made the left turn there. He forgot that there was a stop sign there, didn't see it and just drove straight through. And he was, sent to the front door. And I sat and talked with him for a little bit about it. He's like, I've been through there 10,000 times. He goes, I just forgot in that moment that there was a stop sign there. And it's clear, it's very clearly posted, so it was just.
Were there substances involved, or is he just like had a daydreaming moment?
Yeah, it was just an afternoon, he was just with a group of friends. Not drinking,
Yeah.
but, yeah, I mean, the line is clearly posted there and the stop sign is way out there. So it's-
Oh, and then one other thing I'll ask you about, in Charbonneau, I use that as an example, because, in Charbonneau, you're driving around the circle, there's really no presence of any sidewalks, and so without sidewalks and ADA ramps, there's no crosswalks. But they have those, periodically you'll see the little sign that'll say stop when a pedestrian is.
Right.
And I just wondered your opinion of those, and if you think in certain circumstances, say it can be, if we should try to pursue those, because always a good example, there's no sidewalks, there's no consistent sidewalks, there's no ADA ramps where you would likely want to have them, and what would you think about having the few of those selectively around the community?
I mean, signage, it's more signs, right? I would just have to say if people wanted more signs, they're obviously good ideas. And then to kind of refer back to what ODOT says is people need to know that when a pedestrian is engaged on any part of the roadway, that they have the right of way. Especially in a small town, speeds are inside of a municipal city, speeds are always 25 unless otherwise noted. outside, it's always 55 unless otherwise noted. So. Okay. Yeah,
When Clint first mentioned them, I went over to look at them. And they are so different or unique that they tend to catch the eye as you're going through.
yeah, and I've driven through there many times and I've seen those signs, I think the only difference is that they don't have a lot of signs there, so when you see a sign,
Right.
you're like, oh, and it's, it's a
And it
nice
wasn't,
tree.
it wasn't clear to me the first time I saw it. I thought there was actually someone going to be crossing.
Right.
And I slowed way down and then I read the sign. I said, oh, okay. If I see a pedestrian standing there, I better
Right.
slow down.
Yeah, and on Holly, there are a lot of signs, I mean, there are signs. I think they would blend in our community, they would
Okay.
blend in more than they would stand out.
And then, we talked about advocating for a designated turn light on Burton Parkway and 99E. That's one that I really think needs to happen. That's a really
Yeah.
bad intersection and
Agree.
it's just, I think that's something we need to.
That's a ODOT thing. That's
That is no doubt.
Yep. Oh, that's a pain.
They are, and then I was just reading through this letter again. One of their main reasons is, one, it's not legal for U-turns at the intersections, but then when they dive down a little deeper, ODOT does not generally install U-turn prohibition signs at these locations because of the confusion it can cause due to signs prohibiting U-turns being installed at some locations and not others. Subsequently, this may result in a false impression that U-turns are legal at other locations where signs are not installed. So that's also their reasoning is if you start, the more uniform we can maintain for streets, not just in Canby or on the highway, but then throughout the state, the more uniform people will follow it. And so if you're putting it in one location, it does create that false sense if it's not somewhere else, if you already don't know the rules.
But they already have a no U-turn sign.
Right?
Yeah,
Intersection.
there's already one
We
there,
asked them.
we're just
simply
asking to move it.
Move it forward to the intersection.
Yeah,
No one can make a U-turn through this island that it's on.
yeah, we're just asking for the existing
We
sign
need
to
to
be moved.
clarify our conversation with ODOT. Please move.
Move the one that you have,
That
can we
you have.
relocate it? Maybe we need to reframe our conversation to relocating the existing sign. I get their theory there.
Yeah.
But they already have a sign, let's just move it to where
What
someone
is
will see
the,
it.
the
Cause if
price
you're
of it?
waiting for a train, that light can be red for a while,
Yeah.
and they'll forget that they saw the sign 10 minutes ago.
Maybe that should go up and then we should do a campaign on Facebook and about, we talked about the fees of tickets. So that people know what they're gonna pay when they break the law. All right, citizen input, we had Jean Bristol come and share concerns about the triangle near the fairgrounds, third. Northeast Ivy and Locust, and you're gonna put the,
We did put up the little radar device. I think the ask of the committee was to try to hit a couple of locations. And I wasn't thinking, I was a week late starting it and then forgot how short of a month February is, so I have not gathered all 3 locations yet. So until I can get it a couple more weeks, so I should have that ready for the next
Do
meeting.
you mind if I asked the data on from the radar device show you anything?
I haven't ran all the numbers yet for the first, I was getting all 3 locations before I
Sure,
went through all the numbers.
I appreciate everything you're doing. Officer Mingham, you know, on that one, where that issue was brought up was let's see, well, Spencer will show us.
So the concern was that there's excessive speeding coming from Ivy all the way in front of the fairgrounds on Northeast Third,
All right.
and then also on Northeast Fourth, coming around to North Locust, and then back around that way.
And the citizen that came was, concerned, I think a dog had passed away there from getting hit by a car and, just concerned for the safety of children and adults and animals and just people riding around there. And her concern was not only the speed, but the absence of signage for speed.
I know that it has been brought up for, traffic complaints for us, and we have several officers have spent a lot of time sitting over there. I don't even think there was one citation written. I know that I have sat there many times. I think I had people at 31 was the top speed. And you kind of try and blend in with cars in different locations, even sitting in front of the fairgrounds to see if they come around the corner. I haven't written a citation there in a long time. But I know that I personally have spent time on both Third and Fourth. And just haven't got, they do look like they're speeding, but 31 miles an hour in residential, just.
And it is funny too, you can take those little cars that the younger people seem to like with the loud exhaust. And it sounds like they're going way faster than they are when they have those big exhaust effects on them.
So I know that is a focus for us though, and there has been, I've seen people go on traffic complaints on it twice in the last couple of weeks, so.
One of the other things that we've talked about is the truck signs. In fact, a week ago, I was on Ivy, or on 99, gonna turn left onto Ivy. I was going south, the truck coming north decided he was gonna turn, and then he was waiting for everybody to back up and accommodate him, and it was kind of this, that it sat there through a life cycle, and
I don't know if it's the same truck. I was
he had
thinking,
his headgear on, little stacked up thing on his head. Anyway, it was not good, and the trucks, I mean, there was a whole line of traffic, and they were trying to back up and get out of his way, and
You had to swing into the second lane coming north or coming east on 99. And then the guy in the right-hand lane near the 7-Eleven store had to back up for him to clear.
were you there too?
I was on Ivy,
Okay,
waiting at the light.
probably the same one.
That happens every single day, where if they're coming north on 90 or north on Ivy and trying, I don't know how they miss the truck route signs, but they do.
They don't, they're looking at their GPS.
Yeah, well, and there are multiple GPSs, that has been a complaint that when I've contacted them, they're like, well, my GPS says that I'm supposed to go this way. I'm like, well, are you using the commercial or are you using just a standard GPS? And there are differences, but there's also signs. And it clearly tells them where to go, and those are violations, and they are hefty fines.
Yeah, I was just like, where's my cops when I need them?
And if I can ask you one other question, sorry, it's just been bugging me. On Facebook, a while back, a truck, an 18-wheeler went under that trestle.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
And did that damage their trestle?
it did not.
Okay.
They did come out and inspect it. They had to flatten the tires.
That's our idea.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. And that's happened, I mean, since I've been here, probably 24 times where somebody's literally had to do that.
They can make it.
Yeah, and they said that they inspected it, but it's never been an issue, so.
Must be one,
They go.
Chuck Russell.
Yeah.
We're gonna move on to you and your reports, but, one question on that Ivy area. Do you guys ever sit over between the Moon Doggies and, Direct Link where you can see the people running the red lights as a spot to, enforce the people that are constantly running the red lights.
I mean, I can only talk about my activities really. I can't say that it's been a focus or something like that. That hasn't been brought up as a complaint that they sent out to us, so. I can't say that.
Okay. It's just that's another intersection, it's really hard to find a place to park to watch that. And I was thinking, where would a place be that somebody could see that happening, because that's another one that's daily, I drive that every day, multiple times, and it's like, I honk my horn at them when I'm the first one, and I wait, but I just let them know, running the red light.
You don't know.
Yeah, okay, so what do we have here?
This was just given to me last night. I worked a little bit extra at about 7 o'clock last night. I just contacted them. Said they put this in my box, so, just showing the reports for February on the citations. 254 citations were written, 12 DUI arrests. And traffic crimes, which is obviously not related to the DUIs, which is traffic crimes, but, so there are other ones that they reckless, misdemeanor suspended type stuff. Then just the breakdowns, and then you can see at the bottom of the traffic complaints that individual officers self out on. It doesn't say locations, but the ones that I have heard during the day, I should say mostly on this one, that's between 3rd and 4th.
Are you getting quite a few through that new online reporting?
We have not a ton. There's probably been a dozen so far since it's been online. 4 of them.
Well, my apologies, I could have sworn that I had brought up that the city was getting a fuel station. It's almost done.
I noticed that out there. It's been in the works for a long time, so if you haven't known, you're not paying attention to it.
Yeah, this one has been in the works ever since the ice storm, because when we were out of power for the extended period of time, we were less than an hour away from running out of fuel at treatment plant for the water intake. So the city was almost out of water, and then just for the operations of the city, luckily we were able to eventually get out and go to some of the neighboring cities to get fuel. But at the time, we were out of fuel here in Canby. So council had wanted to beef up our preparedness, so we put in a fuel station down here that is not only just for the city, but we'll have working on setting up IGAs with Canby Fire and Canby Utility or any other necessary infrastructure type people to help. So it's close to being online. We're thinking probably here in the next month.
Nice.
We are still waiting for approval from ODOT to start the Walnut Street extension. We have everything else in place, just waiting for the 6th round of reviews on the signalized intersection portion. This time around, we got 22 comments. Those were resubmitted. Last time it was about a 3-week turnaround. So if we come back with no comments, then we'll be good to go and we can get started. So hopefully that one comes back better this time.
What type of comments are you getting?
It is a plethora. So the plan set is probably 20 pages, and each page ODOT has multiple different reviewers for different type of things that they're looking for. Some of them are a bike ped person, some are a traffic person, traffic engineer type, and it's frustrating because on one round of review, there was a commenter who said no comments. And then when we resubmitted because of other comments, now they have comments that they're adding. So there's been a lot of back and forth. We started the first go around, we had 80, then 75, then we jumped down to like 40s, 30s, and now we're into the 20s. But we're hoping that
3 more rounds.
we're hoping that we can get it done this time. We've got a contractor on board, ready to go, chomping at the bit to get started on the road, but it hasn't happened yet. The other thing that is going to be happening is for the Ivy Street, South Ivy, for the pedestrian, after that was completed, there was, I think from this group and from Bike and Pet as well, concerns over the lack of marked crosswalks.
Yes.
And the county, much like the state, considers that a enhanced crosswalk instead of just a regular crosswalk. So we will be doing a pedestrian study to see if there is, in the engineer's minds, enough foot traffic at some of these intersections to justify having a enhanced crossing, whether that is just striping it or putting up push button crossings. My hope is that we can convince all of the students to try to cross that township, which would help justify the warrant of turning that into an actual signalized intersection. But we will see. So that they have not given a date of when they're going to be out for sure, but that is.
If we see them go across the road.
Yes, more than likely, they try to do it as incognito as they can to get true results, which is why they're not telling me they will be there. So that is coming. We are still waiting to hear back from the state on the speed reduction for South Ivy south of 13th. And then once that happens, then we can work on getting the dedicated left turn put in at 13th and Ivy.
Perfect. All right. Brianna?
Hi, I think the biggest update I have is that on Monday night, Planning Commission recommended the City Council approve the comprehensive plan. So that'll be going to council soon for their review, which is exciting. It's about maybe a 3-year process coming to a close. So next up is the TSP. I believe that'll be going on the 23rd of March to Planning Commission, if I'm not mistaken. The dates have shifted just a little bit, but yeah. March and April, big months for our longer term plans. So that's exciting. Another update I have is memory care on Ivy and 13th has come back. It's been materially complete. We deemed it complete. So we sent out notice, and that will be going to Planning Commission because it's a conditional use. Very similar to when they first came in 2021, very similar plan, building's the same. Really the only difference is the fire access. They worked with Canby Fire to make a better fire access, but otherwise it's still the same number of beds.
How many number of beds that is?
It's 102 beds, and then there will be 4 duplexes, so 8 units total of independent living. And everything is looking good there. They did the traffic study. It's looking good. They did update the numbers from their 2021 study, so it is current. And so, yeah, that'll be going, I think, end of April. That'll be going to Planning Commission. Other than that, we just have, an industrial partition. It's just 3 lots. Some smaller projects happening as well. But I think that's all I have. I can answer questions if anyone has them.
No, Hi, Brianna, this is Clint. I was wondering if you know yet who the tenants will be in the new building on near Malino?
The Sequoia
Speculative
Logistics.
building,
Yeah.
word on tenants, right?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, still spec. But we did write in the conditions of that project if they have a different use than what was studied for the initial traffic study, that they would have to come back and do that again. So I would definitely know at that point if there's anyone with a use that we didn't expect.
Tracy. Hello, yeah, not a lot to report other than, we are starting the budget cycle. As Spencer said, all the department directors are getting their budgets ready and sending them to Randy, and Randy will present to the budget committee with the budget. Our meetings start the second week, I think, of May. And budget committee consists of the council and their non-voting member, except for renewal. So the council, 6 members, and citizens, 6 members, so 12-member budget committee. And then we'll over the budget over 2 to 3 weeks of meetings and then present their recommendation to the council for adoption in June. So that's happening, and then we've got tomorrow is the Citizens Academy. I think this cohort's full, so if anyone wants to participate in the next one, I think we'll have another one because there does seem to be drawing some interest. And what that is it's kind of a little, I think it's a 5-week, over the course of 5 months. It's one week a month for I think 5 months. They goes to different departments throughout the city and learns how government works, from city council to city administration to public works to everything. So kind of have a little education for citizens to understand what we do around here. And I think that's all I have, unless you all have questions, and I'm sure Clint does. He always does.
You can always count on Clint.
Clint first.
I guess I'll ask any updates on the permanence of the city manager, and then should I ask Spencer too, any update on Public Works Director?
Okay, well, Public Works Director, they did some interviews last week. I haven't got an update from Randy yet as to where that sits, as far as a decision. He's being very, he's looking at it very closely. He wants to get the right fit for the city. So, if this batch isn't right, then he'll go back out again. I haven't heard what he thought of these candidates yet. That said, as far as the city administrator position, the council, we're kind of in a limbo right now because we are in a position where we are going over the city charter. And there's a residency requirement in the charter for the city administrator. And so we're having conversations about whether or not we want to have that go out to the voters to change that. And so any search for a permanent administrator will wait until we decide that piece. So hopefully, if we're gonna go out to the voters, it'll be on the November ballot. And so by the end of the year, we'll know if we're gonna extend. We'll probably, I don't wanna speak for the council, but we have him until the end of this fiscal year
Okay.
with the option to renew. So we're looking at all of our options, and one of those options is putting it out to the voters to change the residency requirements, so then we can have a little bit more flexibility in who we employ. So those conversations are actively happening, so.
Super, thank you.
Is there any chance that he would want to continue in that position? I know you guys did it as a temporary position, not to be part of that. Is that something that could change as well if he wanted to?
Again, I can't speak for him, but what his desires are, he's working out pretty well so far from what we could see. And he seems pretty happy in the position so far from what I can see. When we renewed his contract as the interim, we did it through the end of the fiscal year, but we did put that little loosey-goosey clause, should we can just extend it to the end of the calendar year if needed. And so we might just do that until we can put something in front of the voters in November and then make some more concrete decisions.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, One thing that I've noticed this last month is again, running red lights on 99. It gets very bad at 13th and Burke Parkway, 99 and Burke Parkway, 13th. And with the UPS trucks, they're getting better at parking in an area where they're kind of in a driveway to get off the roadway. But just with more congestion happening at that intersection, I find people, I think, are like looking at other things, and then it's like, oh, the light's turning red. But hopefully we can do something soon about that. Also, I'm noticing speed on 13th. 13th is becoming more like being 35 to 45. And I'm concerned right now because softball season's fast approaching, soccer season will be happening. And I worry with how people park elsewhere and are trying to walk along 13th to get there, but I'm worried about the congestion. Luckily, people tend to slow down when they see people, but not always can they see them with cars parked there. So I've noticed a change in some parking habits. Some people are parking in the yellow, some are not. I do think a visible sign of no parking for the yellow would be helpful, just to ensure that people know to give people room to be able to see things. And then Jackie mentioned that on Ivy Street, she's noticing that people are not stopping for pedestrians. And there's been a lot of people just keep going. And even this morning coming here, I saw a pedestrian kind of like stay back, but then I saw that he was wanting to cross, so I stopped. But the opposite lane wasn't gonna stop until they saw me stop. It was kind of like, okay, do we need to do a pedestrian thing or something to kind of help people to kind of be aware?
Can I ask, so when you have a pedestrian that's gonna cross, but they're walking down the road or they're dilly-dallying and they don't make it like super apparent that they're gonna turn and face and cross that road, and you're driving along and they all of a sudden are there and making it known they're crossing, but you're not, I mean, if you're trying to stop, you're having to brake hard. What is kind of the standard rule on that? I mean, I get we're supposed to stop, but is it safe to stop? I mean,
there's obviously distances, I mean, vehicles can't stop on a dime.
Yeah.
And, the engagement is, when we do the operations, the education operations, not saying, but, we put our cone on like on Ivy, we would put it back 135 feet. So if a pedestrian is engaged and a car has not reached 135 feet from that, and they just drive right up through, then that's when we will cite them.
okay,
And so, at 30 miles an hour, a car can stop it's only about 30 to 35 feet. At 25, it just gets a lot shorter. So when we're talking at 135 feet of a pedestrian already engaged, I'm not gonna say you need to look at 135 feet or 130 feet. It has to be within reason.
Yeah.
They just can't run from the bushes and step out in front of you. Oh, no. He's
when
engaged.
I stop and I'm
Yeah.
like, are you crossing or not? You're not, I mean, they're not, their body language, they're standing right at a crosswalk, but their body language is, I'm not sure if they're crossing, so then you stop, and then they're just, we're standing with.
And they, if it's a stop sign, obviously it's different.
Yeah.
Because you'd have to come to a complete stop and
Right,
they pop out and, they engage. That's different. If a pedestrian comes out in front of a car, they can actually get a pedestrian traffic citation.
gotcha.
So, it can go both ways.
Oh, is it mine? Okay.
It's your turn.
Just wanted to say, I try to be as persistent with ODOT as I can, but I've been very frustrated with their lack of response. I included in the last email, Tina, that, you would like to get an update on that review of that section of road near South End Road, and, I have not heard back, so Counselor Hensley, anything you could do to push that along would be appreciated.
On the South End project? Okay, I'll circle back.
And then I also just wanted to point out, I'm sure you've all noticed, I noticed on, when you go down 99 and turn right on Barlow, there's a presence of, they're not activated yet, but a couple of digital speed signs, so that, it's kind of nice. And then one other thing I was gonna point out, you go down to Aurora and you start heading over toward Newburgh. They've really made some considerable safety improvements along that highway, new guardrails and widening the highway. And then as you turn right and you head into Newburgh, and as I would hope they would, they really police the construction zone very aggressively. I've seen numerous cars getting pulled over. They're not abiding by their construction speed, so and so. But that's neat to see those improvements, and that's all I have.
Okay. Tom,
Yes, we had a discussion at the last meeting regarding alerting motorists to what the violation expense is. And I made contact with Emily Dahl with the city. And she provided some charts, but also some basic information. I had gone online and looked at the municipal code as to what the fine levels were for various infractions. 1 to 10 mile per hour overs, the limit is 100, 11 to 15, 264, so on and so forth. But with our issue on Holly, from what the citizens are telling us and what we're learning from the radar units that we've put out, I think most of the people are falling in that somewhere around 10 to 15, if I remember correctly.
You mean 10 to 15 over?
Over,
Oh.
yeah. I see your problem. Anyway, if it's 10, you're at about $100 fine. If it's up to 15, it's 264. However, it's a sliding scale, according to Emily, and it depends on the class of violation, which is a little bit more difficult to comprehend or understand for lay people. School zones are different. Juveniles have a different schedule. So it's all governed by the state under ORS 811-111. And I really can't say that we have any way to pinpoint exactly what a sign indicating the fine level could potentially occur based on the information I've done research-wise. Because it depends on who you are and where you are. So I would say unless somebody has some suggestion on what we do to,
That would be a tough one. It is a sliding scale across the board. Because even like, if we fall back to like the U-turn, you do a U-turn, it's $165, but if you get in an accident while you're doing it, then it goes up to $265 plus anything that is involved with the accident. So, as for a school zone, if the lights are flashing and there is a school, or kids are expected to arrive or depart, it's adjacent, the fines actually double instead of just being single, so, there's a lot of factors that go with that.
I think our biggest issue has been North Holly. There's nothing to prohibit them from making a straight dash.
Right.
There's no stop sign at 10th or 93rd, anything in there. And so think part of it is people get delayed coming across on the ferry. They're trying to make up time going southbound. Why people are speeding going northbound? They just ignore the signs.
They definitely do.
But there's gotta be some solution that we can come up with to,
I'll have one question for you. I noticed, I think I have this right, over by that Columbian Distributing, you know, in the new stretch of road, it seems like they have a pretty prominent bike path. Because Holly is so wide, would that have a calming effect to create a bike path on one lane to kind of choke down the traffic a little bit and give us some criminal?
I don't think it's gonna change people's driving behavior. It would be more pain on the line car.
Create another set of problems.
It's tough because, you know, people are finding new ways to cut through to get from one place to another.
Yeah.
Well, Canby has a great passage around 99 that, you know, if you're coming from the freeway, you don't have to go down Barlow. If you cut into town, it'll get you to the north side of Canby real quick. At least on 99 lights. And there are just a couple stop signs. The thing I can say is that I know that we work out there a lot, and I know that we respond to a lot of traffic crashes out there a lot.
Maybe sorry,
Yes.
maybe the opening of that new Walnut Street will give some relief to that Redwood connection and cars and on the trucks.
Nice on the truck side of things.
Yeah.
That's the intent.
Yeah. Because it does just filter a lot of the truck traffic. We don't have truck inspectors anymore in Canby. They got rid of that with kind of the bike as well. So, you know, a lot of the newer officers don't understand truck routes, but it's a learning process, and you know, that's something that we've been working on in Canby for, let's say, decades now, establishing proper truck routes. But a lot of the construction, it just sends everybody into the neighborhoods, and it's definitely makes it hard.
If you could send a message to your cohort, Officer Davis, we sure appreciate it, all this help with us. He was a good guy, but we're really happy to have you too.
He's still working traffic, he's just working a different shift in the evening hours, and so, yeah, I asked them if, you know, if I could just be a part of their team as well during the day shifts.
Super.
I will be attending from now on.
You've hired some more new officers, I think.
We have
It seems like there's some new faces out there that I don't
a
know.
lot of new faces.
Yeah, we've
And
done
really
some,
get- only
some
getting
swearings in lately, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's great. We have
Yeah.
some good people there.
Okay, so my stuff is, we'll go right on to IBM school zone. I travel that road every day, and the amount of people that do not slow down for the school zone is just mind blowing. They just don't even, and then they get stuck at the light, and I catch up to them at the light. It's like it didn't get you very far. So, you know, any extra patrols that we could do there would be awesome. The other thing on Ivy, right there on First Street on the north side, that stop sign, I've had several people that say, that aren't from around here, that say they don't necessarily notice that stop sign.
Which
right there
stop
by
sign?
Right by Oliver Insurance.
Oh, okay.
I see it run all the time.
Yeah, and, I'm almost feeling like that would be one that it would benefit, like Pine Street where it blinks, where it's just a little,
You're talking the one right in front of Oliver's.
The one that has a flashing red light.
is it just up top or is it all the way around?
Just up top.
I think if it was the all the way around, cause so I was with a friend that does not from Canby, And I told him, I said, stop sign there, and so we stopped. And then we went through, well, the night we went through was the train, you probably know this story. The train was having some work done and the flagger was standing in the right-hand lane. Dilly-dally with the sign, but not really looking like they were, and so there was nothing going on. It was all the way down. So we went on through, we turned left onto 99 and he gets pulled over. And we were actively discussing it, like, what was that flagger doing? Was that flagger actually like trying to make people stop, or what were they doing? So the officer was a new one, I didn't know him, and so anyway, he was kind of like, yeah, they were like, are you gonna go after him? And it was the oddest thing. Well, then I was having to talk to a coworker, and she and her husband, who lived in Canby, had a business in Canby, said they had the same thing, and they didn't stop at it either, because it was not apparent that this person flagging was stopping. But it was kind of that interesting, because I think my friend almost missed that, because we were looking at that flagger that was not really. So anyway, it just, I feel like that light up top, I didn't even notice that light up top. I don't even think but I always know to stop, so.
So, remember, that has been up since before I worked.
Yeah.
Do you remember around what time period that was the first one we got?
Mm-hmm. I mean, just underneath Oliver's sign is a little red sign in the back. I park right there and I face that intersection all the time and I pull people over and I'll film it and they just drive straight through there.
Wow.
In both lanes. They'll go 20, 25 miles an hour through there. And they're not they're looking at every single time. They're like, oh, I had a green light.
Yeah, everyone's looking up here.
But you forgot about the red light and the stop sign first.
Right.
But that is,
I don't know, I
you
just,
can't get much more clear than,
Okay.
I mean,
but I feel like the one on Pine Street with I mean, it, to me, that's more noticeable. I mean, even though I drive on Pine, I mean, that sign stands out to me because it's lit up around it.
And that one again gets a lot of
it
people that
gets run as much as this one,
Wow.
if not more.
because everyone's looking at the lights up at 99 and trying to reach
And
it.
it's even worse because you're coming around the corner first.
Yeah.
And
And there's two
your,
lanes.
your vision is to the left rather than to the right.
Right.
Whereas this, you can't miss this.
Well, obviously you
And
can.
just so that you know that, there were a lot of complaints regarding the flaggers on that exact same thing.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I saw Chutro at the chamber and we chatted about it, cause I was like, I mean,
there's some.
Go back there. Yeah. One of the things at this intersection is that the stop for the railroad. See how worn off the stop is on the street?
yeah,
It was like. If that were redone, would it help? I don't know, but it might in a couple of cases.
I think the big thing is it's easy for sitting here dissecting what is missing, what's not there, but as you're driving in the, probably 10 seconds it takes to get through here, what is it that you're actually noticing? And for how much is already there, it's kind of that overwhelming, everyone's gonna notice something slightly different.
Right.
Because there is so much information that we're trying to give to the drivers at one time.
Absolutely right. And the key is officer says, they see the light. Oh, it's green.
maybe they make it to where you don't have a stop sign there. You go into, you could come out of that and go right, but you can't go left. And over there, you know,
I think it's because it's the railroad, because
Yeah.
they would literally drive all the way through there and they would stop all the way to Second Street.
yeah,
And,
it's crazy.
yeah.
my last thing is the scooters and the e-bikes, the kids on these things that are just,
Nuts.
they are not, they are so dangerous. I mean, I'm afraid, I've seen a couple almost get hit because they'll go, they don't go to the crosswalk. They'll dart out through, like, there's a car here, and the crosswalk's up here, and they dart between. And
And they don't wear helmets.
they don't wear helmets, they're going really fast. I miss the days where they actually pedaled the bikes and got some.
What are the law changes regarding the e-bikes and, I mean, is there a speed limit for them? I know there's been
There
a lot of
are.
conversation like on the logging trail and such, so how do we navigate this?
This is definitely an ongoing conversation at the police department. The laws for scooters obviously have changed when Portland opened up their scooter laws and then. But I can't really go too far into it. There's literally 7 different levels of how scooters are and what speeds they can go. The style, if there's pedals, if there's no pedals, the little dirt bike ones, the electric ones that kids are riding, they're not legal. They are not allowed on any roadway or sidewalk. Private property only. Again, most of those are kids though, so when you're citing them or stopping them, there is violations that issue citations to their parents. Which is effective, but the process is 10 times longer than if you're pulling somebody over into an investigation. And then do you impound the bike, which you can. And then licensing, if they go over a certain speed. And again, if it has pedals, then they are allowed to do rules of the road. They're not required to stop at stop signs, but they are required to signal and be on the right side of the road. So there's hundreds of different things that are variations of this.
Are the electric bikes with the pedals allowed on the logging trail?
So on the logging trails, they're not allowed because it's considered a city park. And electric vehicles or motorized vehicles are not allowed in the parks.
Even if they're pedaling?
So pedals are when you put the variation of a pedal onto a scooter, it's an assisted, the motor is assisted, it goes faster. So they are subject to rules of the road. Now, again, they can be on the roadway, but they just have to be on the far right as far as possible. They must signal. They should stop, but they're not required to stop at stop signs, which is crazy.
Is there a helmet requirement?
There's helmets and it's based on age. So you got 16 and older.
Just like a bicycle,
It's like a bicycle,
not a motorcycle.
And
That's the
and a
weird-
motorcycle, so the scooters they kind of fall into a category of like an ATV, which is a different set of rules, different classes.
Gotcha, okay.
There's a lot to it.
There is a lot, and it's the one thing, because at Light the Night, I remember I was staying there with Chief and a couple of other officers, and they were constantly trying to wave kids down that were kind of riding on the perimeter. This is after majority of people had left, and so that's the other question is how many of them actually stop for people, or do they just kind of take off?
No, they don't.
Take off like they're on their bicycle, like you see.
But they're, I mean, those things
They'll go.
they'll go.
Some of the scooters, I mean, not saying the ones that all the kids are riding, but they'll go 85 miles an hour.
Holy crap.
Yeah, and those are like the stand-up ones.
Wow.
That's
So-
insane.
As a person who's for small government and don't like to have legislature intervene when it's not necessary, that aside, do we have adequate legislation over this subject, or is there something that we need to bring to our representatives?
It's just not, because there's so many variations of it, of an electric bicycle, you just can't rope it into one thing.
There's too
And if
many
you didn't
avenues to
study-
Look it up more,
If you
okay.
didn't study like the whole thing, it would just be, it'd be overwhelming. You could try and look it up, on each stop. Takes a little bit of time,
Mm-hmm,
but
interesting, okay.
I said one more thing, but I was not truthful there. So, have you seen one of these running around town?
no.
Okay.
What is it?
Little electric
So
car.
it's a little electric car, it's not licensed.
What?
It is not licensed, it has so when you're in it, it looks like a bike on the inside. So there's one running around our area at the village that, is going on the road in the bike lane,
Where is that at?
Bikefoot Village.
Okay,
So, I did talk with,
like on 13th on Ivy or
yeah,
something?
going Ivy
Is
to
it like a
13.
golf cart, or what?
Yes.
I couldn't really see your picture very well.
Yeah.
Is it like a
Well,
golf
it's-
cart?
yeah,
You were driving
It's
it?
not legal on the road, I can tell you.
Yeah, so just, note that is out there going down probably to Safeway. There's some concerns about, the driving of that, even on campus.
Yeah.
So,
Hmm.
anyway,
It would require to have, it would still have to be licensed to be
it's
out.
not licensed.
Yeah.
It's not
And all
licensed.
lighting
Yeah.
and braking, seatbelt.
So anyway, just a little heads up that.
Interesting.
You mean I can't do it anymore?
No more, Tom, no
No
more.
more Tom.
I'm telling you, you're a thorn in my side over there, Tom.
Thank you, appreciate it very much, thank you.
Anybody else have anything else they want to discuss? We're gonna end early.
Okay.
All right,
Good job.
meeting adjourned.
All right, good job, guys.
All right.
And thanks and welcome back.
Yeah, everything is safe.
Yeah, I came in a couple minutes late. Are you replacing